I've owed Sun a deck profile for a little while, and he actually, this man loves Weather Painters. I think his love for this deck is probably greater than Bar's, actually, and that is really saying something. There are a lot of dedicated players in their craft out there, and so many people love the opportunity to abuse this deck. So, currently, this deck's pretty much adjusted to be handling the Sky Striker matchup. Now, we don't quite have one of the new support cards yet. So, this is the Weather Rainbowy Canvas. This is the card that kind of makes the deck slightly better. So, the weather effect monsters in your main monster zone of this card's column and its adjacent columns are going to gain this effect. So, if your opponent controls a monster, quick effect, you can banish this card, special summon one the weather monster from your deck with a different name. Also, you cannot special summon from the deck for the rest of this turn. They gave Weathery a means to special summon monsters, and it is so scary what this card can actually do, because it's a quick effects. Whatever your opponent is doing on the opponent's turn, you can splice out into another monster, and you get access to more of the toolbox ability that this deck has to offer you. Now, until we get this, I do kind of keep in mind that Pot of Indulgence is going to help every tier 2 deck out there, and I'm expecting these are going to be expensive, and if you, it kind of sucks because they're punishing budget players. A lot of people that want to pick up Pot of Indulgences and things like that to play more of the interesting decks out there. Yeah, it's a sad day, but it's on the back of the mind. So, with Rainbowy Canvas, we get access to actually abusing more of the new Weather Painter stuff. So, let's dig on in to this deck profile, shall we? So, of course, starting off with triple copies of Ash Blossom, the standard hand trap. With the way that the current format is going, if anything ever happens to this, you can adjust with other hand traps or splice in another card. But for the most part at this point in time, yes, fucking fantastic support card for the deck. Literally everything that we need in life, all just built in under one roof. Fucking full negates, everything. Can you get away with 2? I don't think so. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news for that, because 3 has become a staple in decks. Now, we do get access to Painter Aurora, because this does not have restrictions on what we can bring out. It just has to be a Weather Painter with a different name. So when this card is normal summon, you can place one the Weather Spell and Trap card from your hand, deck, or graveyard face up in your Spell and Trap card zone. Your opponent cannot target the Weather Spell and Trap card you control with card effects. They cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Once per turn during the standby phase, after this card was banished from the field to activate a Weather Painter's card effect, you can special summon this card. We care that our weather spells and traps are basically immune. They weather the situation, per se. Had to get that shitty joke out of the way. But it is actually fucking really cute that they gave the Weather Painters a means to protect their own stuff. And this thing is attached to a 2200 body as well. So that's something to understand as well. Also, the canvas does making Weather Painter Rainbow it becomes a more physically possible dream. So yes, 1 copy of Aurora. Now we are playing triple copies of Painter Cloud. So if another face-up the weather card you control sent to the graveyard, you can target up to 2 the Weather Spell and Trap cards in your graveyard, place them face-up in your Spell and Trap card zone. You can only use the effect of Weather Painter Cloud once per turn, and then once per turn during the standby phase, this card was banished to activate the weather card effect. You get to beam this guy back. But this is actually kind of a recurable card in our deck. We now get access to reset our spells and traps on the field. That is kind of broken. And it goes to show that if this deck gets going and starts grinding against the opponent, your opponent's going to have a bad day just because of the situations that are going to start arising, that your card effects are going to start outpacing theirs, and that's kind of bad. Now, of course, we're playing triple copies of Snow. Of course, on normal summon, you get to place 1 the Weather Spell and Trap card from your deck face up in your Spell and Trap card zone. She's literally our Stratos, but she's 0. And then during the standby phase, if she was banished, she gets to warp on back if you activated the effect of a weather card. So, yes, free searchability. Now, we are playing 2 copies of Painter's Sun. So if this card is in your graveyard, you get to send a face-up continuous Spell and Trap card you control to the graveyard, special summon this card in defense mode. Okay. And then if you do, you get to to place a weather spell and trap card from your hand face up in your spell and trap card zone. You can only use this effect of Sun, and then during the standby phase, if he's chilling in the RFG, he gets to warp on back. Only 2 copies of this. This guy's not that great. It's just an extender at this point, kind of to grant you a little bit more going on here. I mean, to be fair, this thing is Link 3, so they kind of had to do a little bit for the deck. No, I mean, it's kind of crazy. And then, of course, we got triple copies of Thunder, so you can send a continuous spell and trap card to control the graveyard. Place 1 the weather spell and trap card from your deck face up. So you get the ability to rotate through your spells and traps, which is great. And then same clause, standby phase, this guy was banished for a weathery spell and trap card. Feel free to bring him on back. So there is that, but yes, looking for the most part, this is your standardized monster lineup at this point. Now spells, we are playing 2 Called by the Grave. You can make the argument to play 3, that's kind of up to you, but hand traps can be the vein of your existence. They can disrupt you, and you don't necessarily want to deal with that shit. So 2 copies of Called by the Grave, pretty essential staple. Now we are playing 1 Celestial Transformation, and this is kind of acting as Valhalla in this deck, just giving you the ability to special summon 1 furry monster, and then it dies during the end phase. Not a great card, but for all intents and purposes, it grants you an extender to kind of set up more towards this. Now, of course, you do play triple copies of Pot of Indulgence. Fucking banish 6, draw 2 from the extra deck. Pot of Indulgence does a lot of weird things. It allows these stranger decks to kind of keep up in the metagame. And the card's going to be expensive because of what it does. So do keep that in mind. Now, we do pay 2 copies of Rainy Canvas, so this will grant the monster in the adjacent columns the ability to warp out. And then you get to target a spell and trap card your opponent controls, return it to the hand. You know that multi-roll that is really annoying you on your opponent's field, and you just can't do anything about it? Well, you can with this. You can just go end phase, bounce it back to the opponent's hand, and then they'll cry. Now, of course, we do play triple Snowy Canvas. Same thing, grants abilities to the monster and the adjacents. You can banish that monster, quick effect, to add a weather card from your deck to your hand. And then you cannot add cards from your deck to your hand for the rest of this turn, except by drawing them. So, no direct conflict here with this. Then, of course, we play 1 copy of Sunny Canvas. It guarantees the ability to banish a monster, and then you target 1 monster your opponent controls. Tribute that target, and if you do swap summon 1 the weather monster from your hand or graveyard, but not of the same name. So, interesting effect. Definitely, I understand why it's a 1-of. Getting the ability to warp out into more stuff is pretty good. Now, traps, we do play 2 Drowning Mirror Force. This can be up to you to interchange for Storming. I do think that Drowning might be a better option, though, because your little guys can get over it. It just kind of only sucks on a more established board. Of course, triple copies of Heavy Storm Duster. Getting full means to control the opponent, Sky Striker matchup and all, is great. Triple copies of Solemn Strike, striking down dangerous effect monsters that are going to ruin your day. That's what we do. Of course, the 2 copies of the Rainbow Canvas, getting the ability to special summon on the opponent's turn is great. 2 Ripple Thunder Canvas. So at the start of the damage step, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you can banish this card to return the monster to the opponent's hand. This grants any... It basically turns any of your weathers into a fucking Karen, which is scary, actually. Now, the extra deck, we have triple copies of Snow. So, when your opponent would special summon a monster, quick effect, you can send this Link Summon card to the graveyard to negate the summon. And if you do, destroy that monster. And then once per turn during the standby phase, after the turn was this card was banished from the field to activate a weather card effect, you can special summon this banished card. The weather effect monsters that this guy points to will gain the following ability. So, when a card or quick effect is activated, quick effect, you can banish this card to negate that activation if you destroy it. This will basically turn all of your weather cards into negators. And it's absolutely amazing for what this card does. And she has built-in disruption herself, which is great. We're also playing 1 Link Kuriboh, 1 copy of Decode, 1 Totem Bird, 1 The Phantom Knights of Breaksword, 1 Nightmare Shark, Giga Brilliant, Leviair, Downard, of course, Digital Bug Corbage, 1 copy of Vermilion Dragon Mech, 1 Trishula, and 1 Coral Dragon. Side deck, we have 2 Necro Valley, triple copies of Shared Ride, 2 copies of Terraforming, 2 copies of Cloudy Canvas. You can banish a monster that this card points to, target 1 face-up monster on the field, except damage step, and half its current attack for the rest of this turn. But it can attack directly this turn. Another copy of Sunny Canvas, 2 Impermanents, 1 Judgment, 1 Warning, and 1 copy of the Aurora canvas. When exactly 1 card is added to the opponent's hand, you can banish the monster that this card will be pointing to, essentially, then banish the added card, and if you do, that player will draw a card. So, just kind of grants you disruption for the opponent. It's not great, but it helps. So guys, please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think about Sun's current Weather Painter deck. Looking forward to hearing the feedback. And well guys, I'm out. The ride never, well, truly ends. Thank you, patrons. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd be wearing in these videos. I might be a Truffle Shuffle incident all over again. Guys, please also check out VanCole40 for some awesome Vanguard content. Some other interesting stuff you might find up here on the left or in the description as well. Thanks for watching.